Dear friends, welcome to Know Thyself YouTube channel. Good morning. Hope you're all staying safe and keeping well. I sincerely thank all of you who have subscribed to this channel and follow the channel. If you find the contents of the videos uploaded in this channel useful, please subscribe to this channel and click the notification or the bell button so that you can be notified when a video is uploaded. Kindly share the videos with others or in the internet. In today's episode of A Message to Manage Your Day, I would like to share some thoughts on the theme Coping with Your Stories. The plot of Marianne Wiggins' 1998 novel entitled Almost Heaven is centered on Melanie John, a middle aged woman being treated at the psychiatric unit of the Medical College of Virginia for hysterical amnesia. 5 weeks earlier, she was a happy woman, loving wife of Jason John and the caring mother of 4 of their children. Standing out in the field by the roadside, Melanie saw their pulled over family car with her husband and 4 children was hit by a skidding car, burst into flames, and her husband and children were killed instantly. Melanie's internal system helped her to cope with this traumatic experience by shutting down and blocking all the 20 years of her married and family life from her memory. While she remembered well that after graduating from the law school, she went to work in the law office on Broad Street, she did not remember her romance with Jason, her wedding, the birth of their children, the building of their house, and her intimate life of love, fight, and vacation, and the like with Jason. Her amnesia served as an emotional anesthetic, but it also stripped her of her identity and purpose in life. For without the stories of the past 20 years of her life, she could neither have a sensible present nor a meaningful future. The rest of the novel is all about Melanie recovering her memory, learning to cope with her pain and loss, getting back her sense of self, and finding meaning in life. The story of Melanie tells you that you are made up of your stories, and your stories shape you. You make sense of yourself when you know and map yourself in the light of questions such as who are you, why are you here, where you fit in, where you are headed, and the like. Though you may not be hit as hard as Melanie by your life story, you are affected by your story. It shapes your life and it brings change and uncertainty in your life. In confronting the consequences of your story, you naturally respond in one of the 3 ways. You flee, you fight, or you freeze. In fact, these 3 responses are triggered by the fear and anxiety you feel about the situation your story presents. When you flee, you run away from the situation and avoid taking any action, thereby attempt to reduce the anxiety you feel. You do this to distract yourself from the situation your story presents. You can use food to distract yourself, either by overeating or undereating. You make a list of things to do, but do not complete doing them. You may indulge in watching television or anything similar to it. You use these strategies to help you stop feeling anxious. Though they may work for a while, they are unable to offer you long term solutions, but in their turn bring additional problems for you. When you fight, you tend to be unduly critical of everyone associated with the situation. You focus only on the negative aspect of the situation. You expect the worst to happen to you. You waste a great deal of your energy complaining about things which are outside your ability to control. You think you can stop feeling anxious by doing the above said things. But instead of reducing your anxiety, they would make you feel all the more resentful, angry, and excited. When you freeze, you do the opposite of when you fight. You tend to shut down by becoming still and quiet. Melanie in the novel had an extreme form of freezing, which shut down those years of her life that would trigger memories of what she had lost. You feel confused, perplexed, puzzled, and are at a complete loss. You find it difficult to think clearly. You seek to dissociate yourself from the situation your story presents and make yourself feel numb about it, perhaps through alcohol, drug, or other substitutes. In coping with your story and the situation it presents, firstly, you must realize that fleeing, fighting, and freezing only let you avoid your story and the situation it presents rather than honestly facing it. You can come to terms with the fallouts of your story only if you are realistic and accept your story with all its facts and figures without getting caught up in fear mongering and unnecessarily pressing the panic button. Instead of being stressed, anxious, and worried about things you imagine will happen, either by yourself or with others' help, know all about your story and decide what's worth in your story that needs fleeing, fighting, or freezing. Secondly, have a positive attitude in facing your story. Tell yourself things could have been worse or things happen for a reason and attempt to see some good in the difficult situation presented by your story. Thirdly, discern what you can do nothing about in your story and the situation it presents. Though you may not like this dimension, accept it and learn to work with or around it instead of getting lost in emotions of anger, fear, and anxiety. Since you cannot change it, change your response and reaction to it. Fourthly, work out a realistic and workable plan of action to deal with your story and the situation it presents and follow it through by taking small steps, one step at a time. You will be surprised to see that you are beginning to feel good, happy, and relaxed. Though your story and the situation it presents have not gone away, and you are beginning to accept your story and the situation and moving forward in life. Do I understand the significance of my story and the situation it presents for me and the way I live my life? Confronted with my story, do I flee, fight, or freeze? Do I realize that fleeing, fighting, and freezing do not truly help me cope with the fallouts of my story? Do I take a positive attitude in facing my story and the situation it presents? Do I discern what I can do nothing about in my story and learn to work with it so as to change my response to it? Do I work out a realistic and workable plan to come to terms with my story and follow it through that I can move forward in my life despite my story and the situation it presents? Dear friends, Martin Luther King Jr. says, when our days become dreary with low hovering clouds of despair, and when our nights become darker than 1,000 midnights, let us remember that there is a creative force in the universe working to pull down the gigantic mountains of evil, a power that is able to make a way out of no way and transform dark yesterdays into bright tomorrows. It is his faith in this divine creative force in the universe that can move mountains of evil ingrained in the social and political system of his time, made Martin Luther King Jr. to embrace the cultural story of the black people and work for their freedom, social acceptance, and political rights. You can learn much from the spirit of this man to embrace your story and the situation it presents and transform your dark yesterdays into bright tomorrows. May the divine, your ultimate strength in moments of struggle and pain, be with you, help you to embrace your story and the situation it presents, and find the right way of dealing with it, so that instead of getting lost in anxiety, fear, and despair, you may live your life in peace and happiness. This is my wish and prayer for you, dear friends. Thank you for watching this video. Stay blessed until we see you again with another video.